How to teach beginners. Hi, I'm Felipe Drago and welcome to Drago Drums. I want to discuss a little bit how to teach beginners, absolute beginners. I've taught my first lesson in 1992, so it's been a long time. And obviously, in this 30 plus years, a lot of things changed, especially in terms of technology. And also, I've learned a lot as a teacher. So this video is specific for people who are teaching and are having some difficulties, or people who are thinking about teaching, especially beginners. I have some friends that they've already told me like, oh, I don't want to teach beginners because it's a lot of work, or they don't understand, or they don't practice this, that, and the other. I just want to teach intermediate to advanced players. Whatever you want to teach, you should teach. My experience is that intermediate and advanced players, they don't take as many lessons as they should, and it's not a very reliable source of income. And teaching is a business, but it has to be successful. And one thing I've learned in this long time as a teacher, and especially nowadays with all the technology we have, is for teaching being successful for beginners, you have to engage them from lesson one, in my experience, by making them play a song, a very simple song, any song, very simple, that in the first lesson they can think this like, oh, this I actually can play. I can have fun with this. And if you look at other instruments like guitar, in the first lesson, the student learns usually two chords, and with those two chords, they can play a song. And that's what keeps them engaged. And I see a lot of people teaching beginners and emphasizing in technique, posture, position, hand movement, and all these things. All of this is so advanced for somebody who has never played drums before that is a complete alien concept. A person who wants to play the drums is a person who saw a band, who saw an artist, who either going to a gig or on a video clip or on TV, a show, whatever it is, and they want to play a song. Today is really hard to have people going to clinics and workshops just because of the nature of how things are. But years ago, when clinics and workshops were popular, beginners usually didn't go because it didn't make sense to them. Because there would be a guy first playing stuff that they couldn't relate, they didn't understand, and then talking about stuff that didn't matter. And I remember what made me want to play drums was a rock band. I saw a rock band playing, and I said, I want to do that. And this is the case. If you listen to anybody who saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan in 1964 and decided they wanted to play drums, it's because they saw Ringo playing. They didn't see Ringo doing paradiddles. And that's what we need to have in mind. Obviously, technique is very important, and I'm a fierce advocate of good technique, but there's a moment for that. Unless a student holds the sticks in a very weird way, let's be honest, weird way, the first month I barely interfere on how they're holding the sticks. From time to time, I say, okay, relax more. Don't dig the stick on the snare, let it bounce up, hold with this part of the thumb. But this is something that goes with time. I remember a school I used to teach years ago here in London, and we were having a teacher's meeting. And one of the teachers said, first lesson, it's only on the pad. And if the stick doesn't move on a straight line to hit the pad, we're not going to do anything else but to correct that. The other teachers were like, yeah, that's it. And I was thinking, I didn't say anything because it was pointless, but I was thinking, no, you're killing the joy of playing the drums. A couple of months ago, there was this student coming for lessons with me. He's 12 years old, and from 7 to 9 years old, he had lessons with another teacher. He stopped during the pandemic, never played again. The parents thought that would be a good idea to go back to playing the drums. So they found me and they brought him here. And I did what I always do when I have a new student who had lessons before with a different person. I say, bring any material your teacher gave you so I know where you are and we can pick it up from there. And this boy brought the Alan Dawson book that has in the beginning the rudiment ritual. And that was the book this teacher was teaching him. Anything else was handwritten exercises like beats and stuff. It makes me really angry because, come on, people, this is the 21st century. We have lots of tools, we have lots of technology that can help. First of all, handwritten lessons, no. There are books for everything, literally everything. There's even a book for the hi-hat foot. I'm not making this up. There is one. So there are books for everything. And there are great books for absolute beginners who start on the first lesson, quarter notes, playing either on the snare or playing a simple beat. But there are materials out there. There's no reason for people to start to give handwritten stuff. I do handwritten stuff when it's necessary to complement what's being learned in the lesson. Obviously, no book has everything. But there are great books for beginners that start from the very basics that make the person play. So before I talk about my book, I'm going to show a great, I have the cover here because as I said, I usually butcher my books and put it in folders. So this is A Fresh Approach to the Drum Set by Mark Wessels. It's a great book. It starts with quarter notes, and in the first chapter with quarter notes, there's a simple song the student can play. So there is material out there. This book, if I'm not mistaken, is from 2010. So it's a book that's more than 10 years old. Drum set for beginners from my friend Paul Hose. Same concept. Books that take a person who never played drums and make them play. And my book, Play the Drums. Same thing, quarter notes in the first chapter, a simple song with quarter notes that they can play and have fun in the first lesson. They feel a sense of real life. This is what a drummer does, plays a song. So think about that when you're going to teach an absolute beginner. Make them have fun from the beginning because YouTube, Instagram, all these channels, TikTok, whatever it is, are full of fun stuff. If you're still teaching like it used to be taught in the 60s, I'm sorry. I was taught like it was taught in the 60s because I started playing in the 80s, and especially in Brazil, there weren't even drum books. Stick control, we had never heard of stick control in Brazil in the 80s. Okay, so teachers had to do what they had to do. Okay, so first lesson, even though my teacher was kind of a visionary because he made me play, he created a system that made me play one drum beat in the first lesson. So even though I just played that drum beat over and over and over and over and over and didn't play to any song, when I left his house, I was like, yeah, I actually played drums. I'm pretty sure if he had put me on a pad and say, sing, this is how your hand should move, and if it doesn't move right, we're not going to leave this place, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't do the second lesson. Because all this technique thing that it's very important, and after a while it becomes essential, it deals with muscles, and muscles need time. So if you're going to spend a long time trying to make a person have the right motion instead of making them having fun, let them have fun. Play a beat. Then when they're hooked, when they're like, this is great, this is amazing, then you show the bigger picture. Then you show how amazing drumming can be. And if they practice technique, show them all the amazing things that they can achieve. But think about that, especially kids. A kid, a 10-year-old kid, they don't come to your lesson to learn the paradiddle. They come to learn to play the drums. Make them play the drums. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know as well. This is a democratic channel. I will reply all the comments if they're not too many. But think about that. Think about that if you're starting to teach. It's important to engage people with our art, not push them away because it's too hard, it's too difficult, and why not too boring. There are loads of stuff on the internet and video games and all this stuff that are a lot less boring than drum technique. Okay? Thank you very much.